I've met so many people recently in college and through my real estate business who are just wondering what are some great watches to get under $200. And it's a really great budget to be in. Don't let anyone think that $200 isn't enough. You don't need Rolex kind of money to get great watches to just enjoy wearing. What's up, watch people and non-watch people? This video is going to be beginner friendly. So for people who don't have any watches, and for people who have a ton of watches, so many that you need a watch under 200 to feel something, we're going to have some cool ones in here too for you as well. $200 is plenty. It doesn't matter if you have a small wrist, a big wrist, if you're a boy or a girl. And we're going to make sure that you have plenty of options for some really amazing watches that aren't just pieces of junk. Because that's what the big problem is under $200, is that there's a bunch of junk out there. There's a bunch of crap, and we're going to make sure that you don't get any of those watches today. There's going to be links in the description if you're ready to purchase the watches. And if you haven't met me, my name's Keanu Carey. I like wristwatches. I'm a real estate agent. I'm going to school for business law, and yeah, I just make YouTube videos on the side. I mostly make them about me documenting my collecting journey. So if that's something you're into, then consider subscribing, and let's get into it. And I want to get one thing straight. I love wristwatches, but in a way that is kind of unreasonable for most people. You don't have to have as many or like them as much as I do. If you're looking for a really solid wristwatch or something that you can just wear every day, these watches, all of them are going to work just right for you. But this is the one we are going to start off with. It's the Casio F91W. The Casio F91W is a classic. It's super reliable, it's tough, it's waterproof. It only says 30 meters, but I've showered in this watch. I've swam in lakes and oceans in this watch. It's fine. You're not going to have any issues. Make sure you wash it off after you swim in salt water. It's got a really long battery life. I know a big issue with beginner people who are into watches. They're like, I hate changing the battery. I hate charging my watch, stuff like that. It's just, these Casios, they have incredibly long battery lives. I think 10 years is what the new Casios are up to now, which is insane because these watches only cost $10 to $20. Like I said, they have many functions on them. They got the stopwatch, they got the alarm. And I know a lot of new people to watches say, well, why do I need my watch to tell the time? I just have my phone. And your phone can run out of service. Your phone can run out of battery. There's a bunch of things that can happen to your phone. You can lose it, get it stolen, broken. And just having a watch as a backup is always nice. Plus, a man or a woman, you're just going to look way more classy with the watch on. Especially if it's a really nice watch. There's this dude at my office who wears an AP Royal Oak, and I'm always like, damn, that dude probably sells hella real estate. But it's not all about flexing. You can also share your personality. So the guy who's going to wear a bright orange Casio, I know they're going to be way more fun than the guy who's only wearing the two-tone Datejust. But just know that watches are a great way to express your personality, and of course they don't have to be expensive to do so. I like this orange one. I don't know what it says about me. You tell me in the comments, but I think orange is a really fun color. I love it. I wear it during the spring. I wear it on the boat, and I definitely love wearing it when I play pickleball outside. It's the perfect watch. It's just amazing, you know. I just love it. But if you think that this plastic resin watch is kind of weird, let me introduce you to its drippier cousin, the Casio A158. This is the stainless steel version, and it comes in both stainless steel silver and then also a gold variant, which is not real gold, of course, not at this price, but it still looks really convincing and it's still really well made. It's going to be an awesome watch. These watches are iconic. These are the cool ones in my opinion. I've owned the silver one with the beige dial, and it is just amazing. I use this one to time my college speeches. Not only do you look awesome, but you know, you're being functional, you're being practical. These watches are not only tools, but again, they're fun. Both the F91W and the A158, I've gotten so many compliments on, especially from the older generations. They're always like, man, that's so retro, that's so cool. The younger generations, sometimes they find it hip, sometimes they find it dumb. It really depends. The next watch is one I just saw the other day. I went to church for the first time in forever. We're not going to talk about religion today, but I got the Timex Weekender. It is the Indiglo model, so when you push in the crown, it lights up. And let me tell you, this is just so cool because kids love this. I think in general, people just love it when things light up. I think it's just like, oh, that's cool, you know, and then you can interact with the watch. Not only that, it is just a classic looking watch. With Timex, you're getting a ton of American heritage and history. I think that that's also important to people. So if you want something with a strong brand behind it, I know Casio is like the best for just reliability and amazingness, but Timex is going to be your American history. It's going to be your American greatness. They sold a ton of watches in the 1980s, I believe, and they're great watches still to this day. That's why they haven't really changed much. They also have the other weekender model that has a shinier case. So let's say you're more of an office guy, or you're not going to be anywhere where you're going to have to worry about scratching your watch. You want something that people are going to look at and it's going to catch their eye. Well, then the Timex weekender is going to be great for you. These are going to be quartz watches, so they're going to be really accurate. They're going to last a long time. You're not going to have to worry about keeping them wound, and they are going to tell you the right time, which is really important. Everyone hates it when their watch doesn't tell them the right time. Because of their classic, easy to read, legible dials, they're very basic, but in that way you can style them with straps. Put a nice leather strap on there, it's going to look really classic. Put a nice NATO strap on there, it's going to look a little bit more fun and sporty. Maybe put a bracelet on there, and it'll be, just a different watch entirely. Jumping up to the $80, we are going to go with the Invicta Pro Diver. And hear me out on this. So if you don't know, actually, this one is a Rolex Submariner kind of homage. It looks like a Rolex model that is called the Submariner. It takes a lot of aesthetic design cues from it, and it basically is trying to mimic that watch. But it is still an amazing watch under $100. It's probably the only automatic watch I'd buy under $100. If you don't know what an automatic watch is, it basically means that the watch is going to run on gears instead of a battery. It's going to wind itself when you wear it, and you won't need to change the battery ever. As long as you keep wearing it, it'll keep running. And I've heard some pretty good stories about this watch. I've heard some maybe not so great stories, but I would personally take the chance and buy this watch. I've handled one in person, and they're pretty nice for what you're paying for. You're paying $80 for the mechanical timepiece. This watch is that, it works. It borrows a classic design. It comes on a bracelet. You can change it for a leather strap or a NATO. So it's going to be super versatile. It's going to be somewhat reliable. And, if you're getting your first watch, you just need it to be somewhat reliable, right? Invicta itself isn't a very strong brand. You're not buying it for that. But if you want a classic design and you want an automatic movement for probably the cheapest price I'd be willing to pay for, that isn't just complete junk, this is the watch I would go with. But moving on to what I think is definitively the best watch under $200. This is kind of in that sweet spot where you're getting your best value for your best buck. This is the watch that I would get. It is Seiko 5 SNKL. There's a bunch of different variations of them. They all have different reference numbers. There's a bunch of different colors, bracelet options, different dials with different numbers on them. There's so many different options. So why do I like the Seiko 5? Well, it's a Seiko 5. And if you don't know, Seiko is the best watchmaker. I would say is the best watchmaker. Think of them like Toyota. They're basically making the best. If Casio is Honda, the way that Honda makes really reliable cars, then Toyota's like Seiko. It's just that step up. And then how Toyota goes into Lexus and just keeps getting better. That's Seiko with Grand Seiko. They make the best watches. It is just, they have some quality control issues that people have pointed out. But I think that overall, if you get a Seiko, you know what you're getting into. They have bomb-proof, reliable movements. There have been stories of people not servicing these things for like decades, and they're just fine. I have Seiko watches myself. They're like at least 40 years old, and they work fine still, and I still wear them. It's insane how amazing Seiko watches are. For these Seiko 5s, some of them come with 18 millimeter lug width or 20 millimeter lug widths. I would try to stick to those. There are some that are integrated bracelets, basically that you cannot change the strap out on them. I would avoid those because sometimes these newer bracelets can get or I guess these are older now, but they can be janky. They're not like the best. Maybe they'll pull some arm hair. And if you want to remove them and buy a cheap, maybe like $20 leather strap to throw on there, then that would be a great idea, and you would get a killer watch for $100. And I would recommend this to my mother. I would recommend this to my brother. Like, I'm recommending this to you, but like as a guy, I would be like, damn, like if I wanted you to get one watch, this is the watch I would get. These are borrowing the design from the classic Cartier tank. If you don't know, the Cartier tank was one of the first wristwatches. It is based off a tank from World War II, quite literally. And they wanted to take this rugged design of a tank with its treads, and they wanted to make it an elegant art piece. And that's quite literally what they did. So this is the Seiko tank. It's an homage. They changed a little bit, but let's be honest, it's basically copying that design. And you can get it for under $200. The Cartier tank goes for, I think, minimum $2,000, $3,000. whereas you can just get this Seiko that looks the exact same. I like this one because it comes in both silver and gold tone, and you get the ladies or the men's size. They just look awesome. There's a couple variations to them, but overall, I mean, it's just the basic white face with the Roman numerals. I know people love the Roman numerals, but sometimes they think that the rectangle case is just a little bit different. They're not used to that. And I think that if you wear this, then yeah, you're gonna stand out. And sometimes that's what you want, right? No, no, you don't want to stand out. You want something that's a chronograph and that looks busy and that looks expensive. Well, one more then. I got the Timex Marlin. This is an amazing watch. Oh my gosh, there's so many different variations to the Timex Marlin. They have, they have the classic panda, they have the beige, they have a blue dial. This one has a date function on it, which is really nice. You get a lot of date functions under 200 bucks, but you also get a stopwatch, which is also just a cool function to have. Did you ever want to know how long it takes for you to get to school? Well, you can time it now with your little stopwatch. I mean, it's just such a fun thing to do. It's a very interactive feature to a watch. And to a lot of new people, you guys think that it just busy dials look better. They look more expensive. They look cooler. So yeah, this is your busy dial. It comes in a relatively compact 40 millimeters, I believe. I want the Timex Marlin chronograph so badly. I've been looking at one on Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know if I can pull the trigger. But that reminds me of 2 tips I want to give you. Don't be afraid to buy off Facebook Marketplace and eBay used watches. Used watches are just, people typically take care of the watches I'm sharing right now. Because they are more watch enthusiast based, and these are such reliable watches that even if someone didn't take care of them, you know, they're pretty hardy. It's not like they would need any maintenance or upkeep. But if you don't want to buy it pre-owned, make sure you buy it from my links in the description. Of course, any of the watches I'm talking about, I'll have it right there, so it's very easy for you to find them. So I really want to push and see what we can get for precisely $200. And this would be the Orient brand. I've just now gotten into Orient. This is my first Orient watch I've gotten. I bought this pre-owned, used, for $130 on Facebook Marketplace. And this is like originally like I think $350 watch on their website. So you can find great deals out there. But on Amazon, it is I think just about $200. You can get these, maybe a little bit more you'll have to put in there, but these are fantastic watches. You're going to feel that they're more heavily built. They're going to be solid. They're not going to feel as light. These are what's called a dive watch, which means that they're going to be water resistant to 200 meters. It's way more than anyone would ever need, but a lot of people consider this the minimum of what they would even consider buying, which I know sounds silly, but it's a fantastic watch. Another Orient that I don't personally own, but I really want to, is the Orient Bambino 38 millimeters. Okay, it's very simple, yes, but it has that automatic movement in it. It's going to be very reliable. Every little thing's going to be a little bit more refined, and it's hard to explain that stuff to you when you haven't held a watch that's like the Timex. If you compare the Timex to an Orient, it would be a night and day difference. But that doesn't mean the Timex is a bad watch, but it just means that these Orients that you can get for $200, they're really well made, and I think they pack the biggest punch. So I hope this video was fun and entertaining and maybe helped you a little bit. I had this comment where this guy asked me, what's the best watch under $20? And it literally sparked me. I'm like, oh my God, so many people don't know what a great watch looks like under 200 bucks. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that you found that helpful. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see the watches in my personal collection, I put the video right here for you. Go check it out. You can see what videos I'm personally spending my own money on. And yeah, I'll see you over there. Peace.